Hey, what's up? It's Crystal with UTELConcerts.com. I'm on the phone with Mike Mushok, guitarist of Stained. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today.
No problem. How's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good. First off, you're from Massachusetts. I'm from the Worcester area myself, so.
Oh, really, huh?
Yeah, yeah. So I know a lot of rock bands from that area. Could you give a little advice on how you broke through? Because it's hard for a Massachusetts band.
Oh, sure. And it's funny. I think that kind of after we did it, it seemed like it got even harder. I mean, look, when we started, we came out in '95 and started playing. I mean, we being from Springfield, the only people who were getting gigs playing Friday night in front of anyone were cover bands, and tribute bands. So we learned, the first thing we did was wrote originals, and they said, well, if we want to play, we got to learn some other people's songs. So, we always played other people's songs, but booked gigs as a cover band, and I always play like 5 originals or so, just 2 sets a night. And we used the money that we made from those gigs to basically put it back in the bank and fund our first record that we made. And we always had a really good following, and we went from selling out those clubs playing covers to actually being able to the bartender the club owner doesn't care what you play as long as you put people in his club. So we were able to sell them out playing originals, and what we did, and that gave us something that we could use, was that we could offer bands in other areas a great gig to come open for us. So they could get to play in front of a lot of people. So that's kind of how we networked around and got to play kind of throughout New England. And what really led to us getting signed, because it was a friend of ours was a drummer in a band from Connecticut, and he had an opening date for Limp Bizkit, and he called me up one night and he said, you guys would have to play first. It's only 20 minutes, but the slot's yours if you want it. And we would always let these guys open for us, up in Western Mass, because we really liked the band and they were friends of ours. But that's what really ultimately led to us getting signed, was just networking with other bands and being friends with them and everybody helping each other out.
How many bands were you in before Stained?
Oh, boy. That seems like another lifetime ago. I don't know. I mean, a handful, but none that really, I never really had ever until Aaron, a singer that I was really ever happy with. You know what I mean? It was really always this quest to try to find something. I mean, it led to me to writing, instrumental music. I mean, because I couldn't ever find anybody that whose voice I liked, or we worked well together. And it was really the first time I heard Aaron sing. It's like, where have you been? And so it was always really tough. And I mean, I did some cover bands that played out. That was really just to make some money, like during college or whatever. But nothing really serious.
Well, Stained has a new album out, and how would you describe this record in comparison to your previous releases?
I mean, it feels like we've kind of come back to where we started from with this record. I mean, it really, when we got together to write it, I mean, the idea was to kind of get back to, being a more aggressive band. I mean, that's how we started out, and then we kind of went along this path and seem to have gotten away from it a little bit. So, I mean, the goal was to really, focus on that. So, I think we were able to achieve that.
Wannabe is a song on the album that really stood out for me. And I'm just curious, what's the story behind that song?
It kind of started off more as like a joke. I mean, I'll be honest with you, when I first heard that, it really threw me. It was the last thing I ever expected from a Stained record was rapping. So, it threw me for a loop. But you know what? In hindsight, and listening to it, a little bit later, I mean, I really enjoyed it. Actually, I really enjoyed it. One of my songs that I like off the record too. So honestly, it was I think one of the last songs to get done, and that's how they approached it.
The anger in the song, what sparked the idea, the concept of it?
Vocally, you'd have to ask Karen how to write the lyrics. So it's more, I mean, obviously it's about people that, sit behind their computer and write about other people, and it's real easy to do that when, somebody's not there, you're not to their face.
Speaking of Aaron, I'm in Nashville, and his name comes up a lot around here. Has his country project affected Stained at all?
Well, I mean, look, he put that album on as we were trying to, make this record, and I mean, it obviously occupied some time because he was out trying to promote that and make this record at the same time. So, that was part of the stress, I think, that went along with making the record. But, we were able to, to do it, and he did a good job.
And are you working on any side projects?
I've been doing some writing, and I have some opportunities. I, wrote a song for a movie, and trying to get into that a little bit, and trying to work with some other singers. I'm just doing because there's just a lot of stuff that we never used on this record. So, working on some things like that, just because it looks like there's going to be some downtime from the band. So,
you guys are touring right now. What's coming up in 2012 for the band?
We go to Australia in February, and in March looks like we're starting a headlining tour that we're actually putting together the lineup now, and I think back to Europe in June for a little while, and then kind of continue on promoting the record.
Perfect. Well, that's all I have. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. And all the listeners, you can check out what's going on in Stain's world at www.stain.com. So happy holidays, Mike. Thank you.
Thanks. You too. Have a great one.